Hi, my name is Jane Scarf, and I'm coming to you from Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And I apologize, I haven't been on YouTube venue for quite some time, uh, but I thought I would get on today and give you an update on what Stand for Thee is doing with regard to the Emergency Act invocation that occurred in on February 14th, 2022. Regarding the truckers' convoy. It's been our long-standing claim that the invocation was illegal because they didn't meet the conditions of the act itself, because in Section 3 it states that there needs to be severe danger to the lives, health, and safety of the citizens. No danger. Police have confirmed to the Joint Committee on the invocation of the Emergency Act that there was no danger. And they also confirmed that they didn't ask the federal government to bring in the Emergency Act. As well, what we've done now is we've been collecting evidence that shows that there was no violence, there was no threat to the government. There was no blockade, there was no occupation, and it's irrefutable evidence. It's witness statements, eyewitness statements, videos taken by the people that witnessed, and drone footage. The drone footage is priceless because it shows that in Ottawa, one lane was always open, and the intersections open, sidewalks open, so no blockade and no occupation. The only streets that were blocked by the police, and that's clear on there too. They're police barricades on Wellington and some of the other surrounding streets. As well, it shows some of the evidence we have in drone footage shows when the protest was shut down. It shows the police kettling the people who were not in an aggressive stance at all. They're drinking coffee, they're talking to their friends, and all of a sudden police are converging on them with extreme violence and a lot of injury and property damage, criminal charges that were not valid, like basically criminalizing your right to free speech. Like, what is that? And criminalizing your right to assemble with others. So, this is another area of the Emergency Act that's violated, because it says in paragraph 3 of the Emergency Act that they can't violate your rights, and they most clearly and deliberately violated your rights. And not just speech and assembly, but also a bunch of legal rights. They didn't have warrants, they used excessive violence, and the charges that were laid, there was no evidence for them, so it was complete frivolous nonsense, and charges were being dropped left, right, and center because there was no violence, there was no harm done. They were charging them with mischief, and the prosecutors are asked constantly by those charged, what was the harm that I did? Like, what's going on? And even in one case, the judge, Janice Curry's case, the judge was asking the prosecutor, she was there passing out gloves to the truckers for the cold. That's a humanitarian act, and you're calling it mischief? What's the harm? What was she doing that was harmful? And is this the way you want to waste the court's time, she said. It was great. So anyways, what we've done is compiled as much evidence as we could so far, and we're still collecting evidence. It can still be, I'll explain in a minute how that works. But we've created a document, and we served it to the RCMP in Ottawa headquarters. We served it in person, and we served it by fax, so they have it. And Windsor RCMP wouldn't take it, but the Windsor police took it. Actually, it's comical, but the Windsor RCMP told them they had to leave or they would call the police and have them removed, which I thought was ridiculous. But anyways, the Windsor police were cooperative. They took the document. They said they're going to process and delegate it to the RCMP, and they gave them a file number, case file number. So that was a useful undertaking, and many more RCMP are being served across the country. And for example, Gatineau is being served today, and Alberta, some of the Alberta RCMP were served, and we're just getting reports now. And I'm going to put in the credits a link that you can see the document yourself too, and you can see all the video footage, photos, and affidavit statements that people are making. And as well, we keep adding to it, because the evidence is in a folder on Google Drive, so we can add to it. So all the time we're adding affidavits. So if you have experience with any of the actions across Canada, we have stuff from some drone footage and affidavits from Windsor, and from same thing from Coots, and from Bridge, what is it, Peace Bridge. So if you have any experience with any of those protests, we would gladly bring your affidavit online. We also have a template on Stand For Thee for the affidavit, and we're having regular Zoom meetings to have the I lost my visual. Anyways, we're having Zooms. We have one tonight at 8 o'clock where I commission your affidavit online. We show your ID if you're comfortable. Like these other people on the show, you have to get it signed somewhere else if that's not comfortable for you. And then I watch them sign, and then they scan and send to me, and I commission it. But you can also get it signed for free at the courthouse. They have clerks there that can commission. And at City Hall, they have clerks that can commission, and they don't normally charge. And you can also go to companies that just do commissioning and notaring. And they're very cheap. Like the one in Ottawa was $15 to commission. So this is how you can complete your item. And if you have videos and photos, what we're recommending is that you upload them on Google Drive, or on what is the other one, archive.org, and then you have a link, and then you put a link in your document, and you state that you took this video on a certain date at a certain location, and the link is you provide the link, and you say the link is to the video that you took, and that way we don't have to submit hard copies of everything. They can just go online and see the videos. They may want the hard copy or the originals at some point if they're going to lay charges, just so their evidence is stronger. But for now, we're letting them know and see what we have. And as I said, I'm going to put the link in the credits, so you'll be able to see the document as well, and you can distribute it. You can do whatever you want with it. You can distribute it from your group, like as from your group, or you can leave our name on it still and put it put it out that way. You can also email it or post it anywhere you want, because the more people that understand. Oh, shoot, I forgot. One more item on why it's illegal was it didn't pass through Parliament. The emergency order that they did on February 14th, it was only passed by 3 Liberal MPs, Blair, Mendocino, and Lametti. And that's not legal. It's supposed to go through the whole cabinet and royal assent. So Governor General and the whole cabinet has to vote, so like majority of the cabinet. So there's 39 cabinet members, so 3 doesn't cut it. And they invoked it and then started making laws without even consulting Parliament or anything, just off their, out of their ass. So that's not legal either. And that's what we're saying constitutes treason, because they used extreme violence to undermine the Parliament of Canada, because they're acting on their own. and they're not acting in our interest, like without grounds, violation of our rights, and without parliamentary procedure. It couldn't be more treasonous if like there's no possible way that anything else could be as treasonous as this, and that's considered to be the most serious crime in this country. And we have a statement from Brenda Lucky. It's captured in the report when she spoke to the Joint Committee on the invocation of the Emergency Act. She did under oath made a statement that the RCMP are completely independent and they do have the authority to investigate and press charges against Trudeau. So there you go. And we're going to make sure she does that. And I want to remind people again, and I'm saying it, I'm sounding like a broken record, I'm sure, but I'm telling people and to remember, we're still a democracy. I mean, we're whatever, the communism's breathing at the back of our neck and we're infiltrated all over the place. But our courts are not captured. Now, that doesn't mean there's no corruption in the court. I don't mean that. It's infiltrated, but not captured. Police, regional police at least, and RCMP are infiltrated, but they're not captured. The military, same thing, infiltrated, but not captured. So we can stand behind those ones that want to do the right thing and want to use the law to protect this country. And we have it. We have it all. We have all the laws that they need to protect this country from the kind of infiltration that's occurring and the adverse, stuff that they're they are doing. And I believe that we are ahead of the game too, because of many things that the police have done that show that they're having our back. In Ontario, with those rinky-dinky COVID bylaws that came out in I think April 2020, they were supposed to as they started, I think, restricting the size of a crowd to 100, then 75, then 25, then 5. And the police were supposed to, based on a complaint, burst into your house without a warrant, remove everybody, if they've said there's more than the required amount, and lock your place down. So that's your home, your business, your church, whatever. They were supposed to do that. In Ontario, they didn't do that. The only time they would do it is if there was a court order, which is the same as if there wasn't any COVID. And they also refused to do the stay-home orders. That was all legally drawn up, like regulation, whatever, that they were supposed to stop us walking up the road or driving, demand ID, demand to know where we're going, issue us a hefty fine if we were going to an essential place, and order us to return home and arrest us if we wouldn't return home. They issued a letter in April 2021 saying, no, we're not doing that. It was issued on behalf of the police by the Police Association. So right across Ontario, nada. Also in the truckers convoy, OPS, Ottawa Police Services, didn't shut it down. They could have, if there was anything unlawful or whatever, they could have used section 63 of the criminal code to rule it unlawful and then shut it down by whatever means. They didn't do that. RCMP was asked to shut the truck convoy down. They issued a public statement, no, we're not doing that because it's a peaceful protest. So they went to the court twice. I think Mayor Watson made an application to the court twice to shut it down. The court, the first time said, okay, we'll order that the horn, because they were saying shut it down because of horn honking. So the judge said, okay, well, I'll order the horn honking to stop, but I'm not going to interfere with the protest. So they can continue to peacefully protest. And then went back to court again, this time about parking. They wanted to resume their normal parking infraction bylaws. And the court said, okay, you can do your parking, but they can continue to peacefully protest. So the court refused. The OPS didn't do it. They didn't make any public statements, so I can't say they refused, but they didn't do it. RCMP refused. The military was also asked to shut it down, and their answer was, we have no jurisdiction to do that. So they didn't do it either. And according to James Famosa, a captain in the military who lost his job because of vax, said that he was working, during the convoy period, and he said when they were implementing the Emergency Act, they sent all the enlisted men and women home for the week, so they wouldn't be talking to each other, and they, I don't know what they were afraid of. Maybe they were afraid that they were going to go in and protect the truckers against the attacks. But regardless, they didn't interfere, and they didn't. They refused to shut it down. So we still have, like I say, we still have a democratic country. We have democratic laws. In a democratic country, the people are sovereign. We make the laws, like through our representatives. We make the laws. We set and these, like government, police, and all the different bureaucracies. Those are functions that we establish and we set the conditions for. A lot of bureaucrats, like people on both sides, try to convince us otherwise. Like they have all the power and they make all the decisions, and we're just kind of floating around subject to their whims. But that's not the case. They are acting like that, and a lot of people are believing it and letting them act like that. But my message is, like, don't let them act like that. What the Prime Minister and Freeland and those other 3 MPs did was against the law, and we have to make sure that law is abided by. So put pressure on the RCMP, serve the document. The more people that know that the police have that, the less likely they're going to be able to push it under the rug. And I want to get people also following up, saying, hey, what's going on with those charges? Like, you've had those documents, and of course, if people look at the evidence themselves, they can do it with confidence. Like, I saw that drone footage. There was no occupation, and there was no blockade in Ottawa, in Windsor, in Coutts, and Peacebridge. Actually, Windsor had a blockade, but they opened up one lane themselves before the matter went to court anyway, and the court ordered everything to be opened up, and it was completely opened up on February 11th. So February 14th, they said, oh, there's blockades right across the country, Windsor, no blockade anywhere in the country. And this documentary evidence and videotapes and whatever prove it beyond a shadow of any doubt whatsoever, which is the criteria to get a conviction on charges. So again, I'm going to leave it in the credits, and let's do this up. Let's what do you call that? Let's get rid of the bad apples, before our whole bushel is rotten. And in the meantime, remember, #WeGotThis.